Nick Saban on Capitol Hill. Coach DeBoer hauling in some big-time recruits and trying to reel in some of those guys that got away when Sabin retired. We're going to talk about all that right here on Elephant in the Room. He's Jake Coker. I'm Mick Gillispie. Let me remind you guys that our show is brought to you by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Up to $1,000 or up to 50% to $1,000 price match when you use the promo code the next round, just like Jake's shirt. But that's college basketball. Jake, you got the tournament about to crank up the NCAA tournament. We got a lot of as me being sick, I've been watching a ton of basketball. So it's actually not a bad time to have the flu because you get to watch a lot of these tournaments going on right now. But it's a great time of year. Throw some money down, have a good time. MyBookie.ag. All right, I'm Mick Gillispie. He's Jake Coker, and we're not in person today because on my trip back from Arizona, somewhere along the way, Jake, somebody gave me either COVID or the flu or something. I don't know what it is, but I didn't want to put you through the misery that I've had the last couple of days.
Yeah, you don't seem like the kind of guy that would get tested anymore.
No, I look, I know I feel like shit. How about that?
Hey, Mick, how many boosters you had?
Yeah, right. Man, it's like it's that time of year, right, where you know you're gonna catch this stuff. And spend a lot of time in the hotel bar, surprisingly or not, right? And a really cool hotel bar right by the Cubs spring training complex. And you just get people come over and, you talk baseball and you kind of get into stuff. And I just feel like the wait service could have washed their hands a little bit more, paranoid me. And then I'm sick right now, but nobody else on the trip got sick. So either they already had this or maybe it wasn't the hotel bartenders, but I don't know, dude. All I know is that at least I got this thing right here. that right there. Boom. So anyway,
we'll take that to Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Take that to Pawn Stars.
I'll pawn this. I was looking on eBay to try to find like how much championship rings go for, right? Somebody had a Royals World Series ring. It was like $27,000. And that was real. And then there were like some lower level stuff. Like there was a Rochester Red Wings championship ring, a couple of them, one from like 71 and one from like 78. And those were some really good teams. I think they were the Orioles and they were maybe the Twins or something. But anyway, you wonder who was on those teams and then whose ring it was. But
yeah, that's what I was about to ask. I mean, depending upon what the name is, that price could go up, pretty heavily.
Yeah, no doubt. But, there's been a lot of talk about Nick Saban going to Capitol Hill with Greg Byrne. And, I sent you a text the other day because I've been saying this since we started this show. And I've actually been saying it for years.
Hit the nail on the head.
Right. And how many times have I talked about women's sports and some of the other sports not really bringing in any money and not how in danger they are if this system doesn't get fixed. And maybe the system was broken in the first place. I mean, I don't really even know, to be honest with you, because maybe the people that are bringing in the money deserve the money. Right. So, but what I will tell you is that he said $40 million in lost revenue for, other sports besides football.
Yeah. Does that include basketball as well?
I don't know. I think men's basketball comes pretty close to breaking even.
Yeah.
With Nate Oates, I bet you it's probably getting to the point where it's over. It probably produces some revenue, but I'd say the rest of them don't. And the ones that irk me, like I've told you before, it's like the women's basketball. It's like the baseball. It's like when you don't compete for championships at Alabama and they're paying that kind of money to fly you around first class and to put you up in all these places, then I feel like they should make changes. And they went out and got a great baseball coach, and they're off to a really good start. And I think that should be the standard. I mean, because you're not making any money, but at least if you're winning, you are kind of achieving that goal.
Yeah. Well, it's college athletics has finally gotten to a spot where, everybody's been able to piggyback off of football and in a lot of cases basketball for other schools. And now, they're like, oh shit, we got to run this like a business.
Yeah.
We got to start marketing these sports and finding a way to make money, make them popular. In a lot of cases, it's not about winning. It's about, what's important, what everybody wants to watch and support.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to find a way to get people in Alabama, at other schools, to come out and support their teams. Otherwise, it's going to be hard to keep those programs going. And again, if you want to keep the best college football program in the country, the best college football program in the country, you're going to have to eat a lot more of that money in-house and not spread it around as much.
Yeah. Well, that's the fear too, that they're going to eliminate some of these sports. I mean, maybe if they were more financially, sound, where instead of going across the country to play women's basketball games that no one's going to show up and be at, just play the teams that are local. Play Troy, play UAB, South Alabama, the teams in Tennessee, but where you could there's enough teams around where you could play a non-conference schedule and not have to go anywhere. Right. Yeah. And for all these years, it's been like, well, Title IX this and Title IX that. Well, look, you're not making any money. And that's just not just Title IX. I mean, that's also the other sports too. And if you're not making any money and there's no financial value, and now all of a sudden the people that are creating the value are cashing in on it, then there's a lot less money for you to live that extravagant lifestyle. Now, with that said, college athletics, Jake, they have to decide whether they want it to be professional. And if it's professional athletics, if college sports, which it really is now, it really is professional. I mean, professional just means you're getting paid, right?
Yeah.
Then there needs to be guidelines, like you got to, I mean, I don't know how they're going to do it, but if guys are going to leave before they have lived out their commitment, I think they ought to have to pay back their scholarships. They have to pay back their NIL. There has to be a way to hold the players accountable too, but the thing that Sabin said that really bothered me the most is when he said that Miss Terry said, why are we doing these Sunday things? Because the parents used to ask about, like I think about Ryan, and his mom, and I think about you and your mom, and like we're taking you to college and Sabin and Miss Terry looking after you guys, right? And all the players and guiding you to become the successful guys that you are, Shank, Mike Johnson, Baron Huber, all my friends that are former Alabama football players. The thing that you guys all have in common besides playing for Alabama is that Nick Saban rubbed his successful personality on you guys. Like you guys are all driven to success, right? Now, when his wife says, hey, why are we even having this? Because they only care about money. Money's great, but it's not going to teach you those values. And that's what they're going to lose out on.
And a lot of the comments I see is talking about Coach Saban making money and now the kids are making money and he hates that. And, it's a total bullshit claim.
Yeah.
It's from a lot of people that don't know a damn thing about Coach Saban, never been around him. And, again, this is my personal perspective. I'm sure he loves making the money that he's making, but from, my knowledge and just knowing Coach Saban, my opinion is that it was never about the money. It evolved into this, luckily for the coaching profession, that guys are getting paid this way. But Coach Saban, when he talks about the process and doing things right and not being results oriented, if coaching wasn't a profession that was so highly paid, he'd still be doing it. He would be doing it somewhere, coaching players, whether it be high school, college, NFL, it wouldn't matter. He would do what he does is, if Miss Terry tells him to do something for, this morning, he's setting aside 30 minutes to clean the windows as good as he could possibly clean them. And then it's the next thing he's going to do is he's going to do it the best he possibly can to the best of his ability. It doesn't matter what he's doing. Doesn't matter what he's getting paid. It's, hey, I'm doing this. I'm doing it the best I possibly can. And then I'm moving on to the next thing. And that's what I've got to do. And we'll see where we are at the end of the day. Yeah. Same with coaching. If he was, and Miss Terry, let me tell you, she's a supporter of Coach Saban. It was never about the money for her either. She loves Coach Saban. She loves the man that he is and what he stands for, has supported him throughout his career, whether he was at Kent State, Michigan State, wherever he was getting the best from her and the most support that he could possibly get. And she lived that lifestyle of supporting the players that he coached because she loved them as well. It was a family affair. It was a group effort by the Sabans to make their players better on the field and off the field. And again, they've been rewarded, monetarily, because that's how the market has dictated their success. And that's a great thing. They deserve every bit of it, in my opinion. But again, you look at the players that played for Coach Saban, made it through his program, whether they're playing in the NFL or not. I think about Coach Saban and what he taught me on a daily basis. And, whether I feel like I've done things the right way today to set myself up for tomorrow and set my family up later on down the road, am I doing things today that need to be done in order to get to where I want to be? And, it's not like we've had, a tremendous amount of one-on-one conversations where he was mentoring me, but, in our conversations we have had in a one-on-one scenario or him speaking to us players as a group, there was so much value to take from that. And just to watch him day in and day out, the guy doesn't drink. He plays golf is the only thing I think he does outside of football. He loves being there, loves being involved. His car's the first one there, the last one to leave. He's always working. The money is just a byproduct of success.
Yeah.
And so, again, he's bought in developing players, doing the best for them. Miss Terry the same way. And, when he speaks on Capitol Hill, that is from the heart. That's what he means. And that's what college football is to him. And I think that's what college football is to me as well. It was sad to watch him, say that, because it was something he loved doing, and it was obvious. The amount of time he spent with us, you can't fake that.
No.
And so, again, while he was competitive and wanted to win games, he understood that making the players the best they could on the field and off the field was the best way to win, and also set his players up for success later on down the road. He did everything he possibly could, and he didn't have to do all the things that he did. He still takes time to do whatever a player needs, current or former. He's going to do it to help them. And so all this bullshit you see about, him being mad about the players getting paid, that's never been what it's about.
Mm-mm.
It's about earning, pay based on making a name for yourself, a brand for yourself, based on the success you have on the field, and then carrying yourself with character off the field. And that's the whole argument. And that's the way it should be. These high school kids, nobody gives a shit what you've done in high school. You might have a great body. You might run a 4.5. And it may be great. Fans are excited about you showing up on campus, but you're not shit to Alabama or anybody else until you prove you're a good player on the field and people want to be around you and you make players better around you on the field. And you don't deserve a damn thing until you prove that.
Yeah.
That's the entire issue. That is, you break it down, that's what it is. And I cannot imagine as a high school athlete, I can't imagine if I walked in front of my dad and my mom and said, all right, how much are you going to pay me? Ohio State's over here. I got Florida. They would look at me, they'd throw me back in the car and take my ass back to Mobile. It would be, you haven't proven anything. You don't deserve anything yet. Make yourself valuable to your team before you start making any demands.
Right, but that's not where we're at, man. Right now the game is,
I'm on a soapbox.
I know, and I agree with you. And I saw a video the other day, and the commentator was like, "What are you going to do with all your money?" And the guy's like, "I'm going to buy my mom a house," And it's like, you're talking about a high school guy that's going to college. Like, I'm so torn by this because, as I've told you, as an Alabama grad, I shouldn't have educated me because I can flip the coin when it comes to my economics. I get it. The guys on the field are what's producing the money because people are buying tickets, and so there's a value. They have a different value than women's basketball or whatever. But at the same time, the other part of the coin is that it's amateur athletics. It's supposed to be amateur athletics, which means that you're not supposed to get the athletes are not supposed to get paid for it. And that's where the tear is. It's like, well, it's not that anymore, and I remember, some of these people would be like, well, this system is, the people that did this system are just stupid, da, da, da. Well, no, I mean, once you pay someone, it's not amateur athletics anymore.
Yeah.
And that's where the tear is. I mean, how do you fix this? I didn't have a problem. On one hand, I mean, I don't know the answer, Jake. On one hand, I totally think that when I've told you guys, I don't know how many times I've talked about Tyrone Prothro, and he breaks his leg and he's got a limp to this day. The guy would have made millions of dollars in the NFL. What did we do to compensate him for his?
Well, but I agree with that. I mean, he's made a name for himself on the field. Like, if people want to come pay him, if he wants to do, take on some endorsement deals, if he wants to go sign for money, I mean, that is a great thing, and he should be paid. And look, I mean, I would have loved my senior year to make a little money on the side. I mean, I think I should have been able to do that. I think I should have been able to do that.
What would you have bought with the money?
I wouldn't have bought anything.
See, I think I could see you. You already got a pimped out truck, but I could see you more pimped out truck, bigger tires, little lift kit they call them. You'd probably have a winch. Could see you with a winch just in case you got stuck in the woods. Probably like some property.
I've never been a spender. I mean, I've always.
Hey, look, I'll tell you right now. I got a lot.
My truck is just an F-150. It's a basic.
I've got a lot of projects. If they would have paid, look, I don't have a problem with people getting the value that they deserve. But you're right. Like you can't. They should not be able to use this to recruit, and you shouldn't be able to transfer and get money if you haven't played a game for a school yet. You know what I mean? Like you should have to earn it. But how are they going to legislate that?
Well, the NFL could do a real service for, at the end of the day, the transfer portal is what kills you. But, I mean, maybe if there was a precedent for a ceiling for freshmen or 19-year-olds, again, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know the legal ramifications of all this.
Mm-hmm.
So, for me to throw out ideas like, I mean, I think we all know what the answer should be, but is that going to be, legal? I have no idea. But, again, what it should be is transfer portal. You got to get rid of that. You got to make it go back to guys either they fulfill their NIL requirements or deals before they are eligible to leave,
mm-hmm.
Or have the graduation clause in there where you got to graduate before you're eligible to leave.
Yeah.
And again, no good business can be done unless there's leverage on both sides, and that's just not the case right now.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. It's got. I was glad to see Sabin up there and Greg Byrne, and if you're a fan of the sports besides football, you should be really worried right now, because if they start doing some kind of like a revenue sharing, eventually it's going to trickle down into some of those sports and they're going to get rid of them.
Yeah. And, again, I think, football, basketball, baseball, softball, those sports will probably be able to stay. I mean, football and basketball, are sticking around.
Baseball, I don't know, man. I think it really is just going to depend on what conference you're in.
Yeah.
Because we look at everything through the Alabama prism, where Alabama's printing money with football. And for us, I mean, being a little bit, spending that money differently, maybe having a fan base that values NIL because they have to. You're going to generate more money. But you go to other places, other conferences, and that's not the case. There's going to be conferences that are going to get rid of baseball. They're going to get rid of women's basketball. They're going to get rid of, softball. It's going to get rid of it. What I think is be smart about the travel. I mean, just save money by you don't need to go out and play a tournament in Puerto Rico. I mean, really, you don't, right?
Well, maybe some sports are going to have to some sports may have to reclass individually where they can play more local games.
Yeah.
Like you said, South Alabama, Southern Miss, Troy, keep it within a 4 or 5 state footprint.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm thinking. But I'm curious to see how they're going to be able to fix this because it is.
Well, some of these teams playing in the Big Ten, did UCLA just go to the Big Ten? Is that right?
Yeah, UCLA.
You talk about some travel expenses. It's going to be crazy for those guys.
I know. Yeah, no, you're exactly right. Yeah, especially for your non-football sports. And if you got to start compensating the players for it, then it becomes pro sports. Then what? How do you do it?
Well, you're going to have I tell you what, you're going to have in my time in Arizona, that place was a shithole in comparison to the facility we had in Tuscaloosa. And the reason for that, it's like you see a lot of businesses have shitty offices, but they make a ton of money. They just don't want to spend money on the office space when they could, spend it somewhere else. And that's what you'll end up seeing. These facilities are going to get worse and worse and downgraded. And you got to spend your money where you think is most important, and it's got to bleed out somewhere.
Yeah. No doubt.
Alabama, my gosh, that place, these college facilities are far better than NFL facilities for the most part.
Alabama, I guess in the SEC because it was an arms race.
Oh yeah, A&M.
If you're not paying the players, you got a lot more money when you make the same amount of money.
Yeah. Well, you think you paying each player $100,000 a year, which I don't know what the average would be, but
yeah. But I'm watching all these guys sign. That's not a lot of guys making $100,000.
Well, I don't think
maybe $100,000 times 10, then times 6.
I think it's Alabama is now the authoritarian of the collective, and so it's not really the school paying for it; it's a separate entity. But those funds come from other donations, from my understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
they do now, but that may change.
The school's not directly responsible right now, but if it changes, it is going to gut college athletics.
Yeah. Well, football, that would be one thing. But if you do that, then all of a sudden you can't claim it's amateur athletics, and then that's a whole different ballgame, So this is going to be really interesting to see how they're able to take the next step in this because it's a mess right now. It is just a mess. Like there's no – it's pickup ball. You could literally go out and pick up every player from the best players from every team and put them on one team. That's why I took up for Tennessee. They were getting in trouble for something with Nico. And I'm like, did you guys not see the bidding war between Georgia and Ohio State for Caleb Downs? Did you guys miss that one? Because is that really Yeah. Come on, man. It's ridiculous.
Well, that's all it is. It's about to turn into NBA basketball about 10 years ago when the Big Three came around, and that became a thing where you had teams turning into all-star squads, and I don't know. I just it's not going to be the same. I'm going to miss the old feel of Alabama's home. And you play for Alabama because you love them and you love the culture.
It'll still happen, man. There's still going to be a lot of guys from in-state. That's why kind of a good transfer here to topic or transition. is out. We were concerned, and I said it publicly, that the new staff needed to make sure that they lock down the state, and they're doing that. Like I was worried that they weren't going to get them guys in state, because you can get them from all over the world to play football at Alabama, and then in the country you can get them from everywhere. But you got to get those guys, those local guys. And what I'm seeing is that they're getting those local guys.
Hey man, let me tell you what. As long as you keep, and I'll harp on this. As long as I need to. As long as you keep Denzel Duvall, Josh Chapman, Jamie Mosley, those kind of guys,
yeah,
you're going to get studs in Alabama. Those guys are recruiting machines without even trying. They relate to everybody. Everybody loves them. Just a key part of the organization, and former players that will help maintain that Saban-esque culture. And you got to have those guys that just to keep the cloth of Alabama there, and just keep that mindset, because again, those are the kind of guys that help build Alabama, and those are the guys that are going to maintain Alabama, and you just got to have those guys. And I haven't talked to Denzel about the recent guys signing with Alabama, but I know he had a big hand in it.
Oh yeah. Well, I love the fact that they're going after some of the guys that slipped off the hook, like Zion Grady, who's another Alabama guy who said committed, and then Sabin left. Hey, I don't know what's going on, but dude, have you seen practice? They got music pumping. They're having a good time out there. It looks fun, but they're getting their work done. And why wouldn't you want to go play there?
Well, yeah, I think everybody's going to have to start catering to whatever the wants and desires of the players are. Again, the only thing you heard was at an Alabama practice was, coaches just getting after players, and you heard piped in crowd noise when we had an away game. And that was never going to change as long as Coach Sabin was there. And the music, I don't know. I guess I'm old school. I'm not a big fan of the music playing during practice. I just, it's kind of a distraction. But
man, get out of here. What would you like to hear if they did play something? Some Toby Keith?
Oh man,
would that help you? Would that help you make those passes?
Yeah, my teammates wouldn't like my playlist too much. I used to have. There was a song, I guess, going into my senior year that I was killing this song, just wearing it out, and I'd play it in the training room before practice, getting taped up. It was an Alan Jackson song called "Gone Before You Met Me," and I'd be playing it, and they'd be, everybody's looking around like, "Who the hell is playing this shit?" And Reuben Foster would be getting taped next to me. I'd be singing along, and he'd be like, "Hey, this shit ain't bad." he figured it out. He figured out it was me. But
yeah.
So everybody did at a certain point.
Yeah. Some of us, we get out of the box when it comes to music. Like it might not be your exact style, but when you hear it, and that's kind of how the locker rooms are in baseball too. Like a lot more of a Latino flair.
Yeah.
Then and at first you're like, man, what the hell's this? And then after a while, like you're singing songs in Spanish.
All of a sudden, you got a Latino playlist going.
Yeah. You don't even know what you're saying.
You gotta get involved early. It's baseball to me is kind of like golf. You gotta have you gotta have a base swing. You gotta understand how to field the ball, and there's just so much technique involved in baseball, which there's technique in football too, but at the end of the day, it comes down to physicality in football and fluidity of movement. Baseball is just, if you don't understand the game and you don't understand the technique, then you got a long way to go.
Yeah, and that's so much of baseball's technique.
Yeah.
So talking about technique, recruiting technique, Kalen DeBoer has come in, man. He's hit the ground running. Like every time you turn around, like we're starting to just nail down 4 and 5 star players again.
The guy, look, you don't just decide to replace Coach Sabin. That's not just something you on a whim do. You got to have you got to realize that your whole career is riding on the success or failure of this opportunity. And I mean, even if things didn't work out, he'd get a job somewhere else. But as far as being the man in college football, I mean, he's got an opportunity to do that. You know, come in and keep Alabama relevant and keep them at the top of the mountain. Because again, if you don't, you know, if you don't keep us at that level, you're a loser. I mean, that's at the end of the day. That's. I mean, it's
FYI,
honest,
everybody.
Huh?
I said FYI, new staff.
No, and I don't mean that personally. What I'm saying is the perception is that you couldn't come in and compete the way that Coach Saban did. You know, you couldn't be that guy. You're not going to live up to that that level of success. I mean, I think he's a great guy. I think he's a great coach. I think he's got a lot more obstacles in his way now than Coach Saban had, and it will be difficult to maintain that level of success. Yeah. But I've also been there, and I understand what it takes, even without all these obstacles in his way.
Right.
I mean, he's got to now find a way to raise money, make sure that there's an emphasis there to pay these guys. He's got to recruit money just like he recruits players. I mean, it's a two-way street. He's going to be busy all the time. He's going to have nothing to do but work, and so he's going to earn every bit of the money that's going to be spent paying him.
Yeah. Yep, you're right. Well, Jake, we got some huge news yesterday, I guess, a couple days ago.
What you got?
Derrick Henry finally is going home to the Ravens.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, he's going to the Ravens.
When did that happen?
It already happened. It's a done deal. So now we can get those. You get the white. I'll get the purple. We can get those Derrick Henry Ravens jerseys.
We will do that. Hey, we're doing that for sure next year.
Yeah, I love it. Man, I'm so excited. You know, this is the second former Alabama Heisman Trophy back that has played for the Ravens because.
Oh yeah, they need to go ahead and bring Mark Ingram back.
Yeah, Mark Ingram. Well,
how cool would it be if you had Derrick Henry and Mark Ingram in the same backfield?
I know. Yeah. And from the same like game day jersey wear.
The entire state of Alabama would just be Ravens fans.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there's a lot of Ravens fans just because Ozzie Newsome was there, and they always seem to have some Alabama guys like constantly, you know.
Yeah.
And that's been going on for a long time. Calvin Ridley signed with the Titans.
Yeah, I saw that. I knew he was. It looked like he was getting out of Jacksonville for a while.
Yeah, but you know, I think he's due to have like a really big year, depending on like the offense that he's in. Although I thought Jacksonville is just one of those teams I think's building to make a run.
Oh yeah. Well, technically, I mean, you know, Calvin had 1 year off, and I mean, he's basically going to get to grow with the rookie quarterback they got out of Kentucky last year. I think that's always good, bringing in young guys together. I mean, you got to have some old guys to kind of, you know, right the ship and make sure everybody's on the same page. But, man, you get a bunch of young, talented guys together that can grow together. That's a dangerous combo in the NFL.
Yeah, no doubt. That's what you try to do. Jerry Jeudy got traded to the Browns since the last time we talked.
That historically has been the kiss of death. Who did what? I think did Odell Beckham? Did he say that the Giants were pretty much punishing him for sending him to the Browns? Isn't that right? Isn't that what he said?
I don't know. It probably is true. They also signed your buddy to be the backup quarterback too.
Who's that?
Jameis Winston.
Oh, he's in Cleveland now?
Yeah.
I thought after last year he might have a shot with the Saints. You hear me?
Yeah. No, I'm just double checking.
I thought last year he might have a shot at the starting job with the Saints, but I guess it'll be him and
yeah, he's there. I'm right. It's going to be him and Deshaun. you could go into that locker room and hang right out with those guys.
Yeah. That's going to be interesting. A lot of talent in that room.
I bet they're in a tough division, but like the Lions will probably be one of those. Who's going to win the Super Bowl first of the teams that never won one? The Browns, the Lions, the Chargers. I know there's some other teams.
It's hard to believe the Chargers haven't won.
Titans haven't won, and the Texans, but they're newer.
I would have said the Titans. Man, I thought 2 years ago they were really going to have a shot to do it.
They've had good teams.
Jacksonville's never won one either, have they?
No.
They've been in it, but they have never won one. Back in the was it Larry Taylor or what's his name?
Fred Taylor.
Fred Taylor, yeah. I'm terrible with names.
Me too.
Obviously.
I was walking. We're doing this walk up, like we were walking up to go on the field to like model the Cardinals. Here's the list: Cardinals, Falcons, Bills, Panthers, Bengals, Browns, Lions, Texans, Jaguars, Chargers, Vikings. Been in it 4 times and haven't won it. And Titans. That's your list. So we're walking on the field to do the ring ceremony, and I'm like looking at this guy's name, and I'm calling him Cole. His last name is Beasley. And he's like, that's not Cole. That's not Cole. And I'm like, oh, Bradley. But and then like later, I was like, I don't know why I thought that. And they're like, because there's a Cole Beasley wide receiver.
Yeah.
Stupid dum-dum.
Wait, so the Bills have not won. They lost 4 in a row, right?
They lost 4 in a row.
I think the Bills are the first one. They're going to be the first ones to do it.
They're close. I mean, they got the best quarterback of the bunch.
Oh, yeah.
They just can't. They haven't been able to get by the Chiefs, but they could. It could happen. Of that group right now, I mean, the Chargers, though, were pretty good. I think somebody's going to get there. I mean, the Lions would have gotten to the Super Bowl last year had they not blown it. Had the huge lead and just like what we like to say, shit the bed.
Yeah. Hey, man. Live by the sword, die by the sword.
You ever used that term before? Shit the bed?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've been told that I've shit the bed a few times.
I was in this bar one time in Jacksonville, and this guy we were friends with, his ex-girlfriend came up. She was cute too, and she was mad at him, like did not like him. And he got his tab and got the hell out of there, right? And she kept saying, "Did he tell you about the time he shat the bed?" we still talk about that. Not with him, but the other guys that were there. After the dust settled, I just kept asking everybody if they heard her say that he shit the bed. There was a glass window behind us, and she was so mad. She kept knocking on the window, and we all turned around, and she was going like this and pointing at him. Just awful.
That's a rough night.
Hey, I think he picked up my drinks on his way out, so I'm not going to tell anybody who it was, but it was. A lot of times you say we've all been there. No, we haven't all been there. Oh God, dude.
So that's where we're going to draw the line.
I think that's where we cut it off for today. I think we've given them a sick Mick has come out here in a room that's probably 80 degrees out here right now, and giving them 45 minutes. But honestly, like this is the only thing I've gotten out of bed for. It kind of feels good to be working. Like I told you beforehand, like, you try to set a good example to everyone at home. And it's like, the minute somebody has a cough, their nose runs, like, I'm not going to school, man. We used to go to school. It didn't matter.
I remember when it was something everybody respected when you showed up to work or school sick. It was like, hey, this guy's got something about him,
Yeah. Work hard. Work.
Now everybody's pissed when you show up. I'm just here to work, you know?
Yeah, right. Get out of here. Go home. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm showing everybody like I play hurt, you know.
Just wrap it up and get out there.
Yeah. Well, look, it's fun hanging out. Hey guys, I want to tell you too a couple things here. First off, that we're presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Hey, let's talk before we get out of here. We got to talk a little basketball. Because we haven't talked about our next show. So
Who
I don't
we
know.
have in the opening round.
We don't know yet. We haven't played into it yet. So we play Friday night though.
Who are we playing?
I don't know. It hasn't been. They have to win.
Yeah.
But I saw where
kind of a bye, I guess.
I saw where Louisville fired their coach. And they had a press conference, and I'm telling you, like that Nate Oates buyout so high, like it's like 12 million or 10 million or something like that. But a place like that, they're probably not going to pay that, but they need somebody like him. Because
hang on, which school are you talking about?
Louisville.
Oh yeah. Hell, I thought Ohio State was going to swoop in and try to get him, which I'm sure they did. You just didn't hear about it.
They made the buyout so high, which was, I guess it was smart, you know, but 12 million to 10 million.
Well, he got it. That was included in the extension he got last year, right?
Yeah. So I was trying to figure out like what it is right now, but it's good for us because if we don't get that arena built, he's going to roll. If he keeps having success, because you go somewhere like that, man, you get they said the athletic director came on. He's got, let me see if I can find this picture because I was kind of making fun of him a little bit with his his wardrobe choice. See if I can find this.
No, but hey, you know, at the end of the day, I mean, this isn't. Look, I like this team a lot. I know they play hard. But this isn't a team that's going to dominate, you know, in the paint that is going to be able to out physical people. I think we got to be on fire the entire month of March to make a good run, you know.
Yeah.
We just can't have any bad shooting games. We got to figure it out. Got to rebound. And just show a lot of heart, man. I want to see a lot of toughness. Win or lose, rebound, get after those loose balls, win the 50-50s because we're going to have to scrap, you know.
Oh, yeah.
But, hey, man, we'll see. I hope we shoot lights out. Hope we win even if we don't shoot well. But, I mean, it's hard to say otherwise right now.
Oh, yeah.
Arkansas, I mean, my gosh, I almost turned that game off. I mean, I was fully expecting us to not be able to pull that out. We made it happen at the end, but golly, that would have been a really rough end of the season that we lost Arkansas, who I think is like 15-15, 14-14, something like that.
Yep.
Hard way for the seniors to go home. And I also didn't realize that we had that many key seniors. I mean, Reitzel's a senior, Nelson's a senior. I knew Mark Sears was a senior. And then there was one other one. Anyway, 4 big key role seniors. Reitzel had a hell of a game, too, which I felt like we hadn't seen much of this year, at least to this point. I feel like he's been capable of it, but we finally got to see him really make a lot of plays.
Right.
Made ultimately the game-winning shot at the end.
Oh, yeah. All right, I've got the thing up here now. I just got to get to it. Let's see if I can get this. Put it on the screen here. It's pretty funny. I watched this today. I mean, this is what being sick is too. You know, like you get to watch a press conference that you wouldn't normally get to watch. But I thought you're coming out. Everybody's watching you, and and you got your Cardinal jacket on and like a black and white striped button down.
looks like the press conference is just getting in the way of a tea time.
Yeah. Like, I mean, look, I've realized the guy has a tough job. You know, Kenny Payne is a good coach, but he didn't win there. And they're terrible. Did you watch Kenny Payne's press conference? They won like 15 games in 2 years at Louisville. I mean, they were terrible. And he just got up there and he was like, and people were jumping off the Titanic. And I was like, oh my God. And then they fired him. Like, and then this guy shows up. He's got his Cardinal. Like, it was like somebody was like, hey, man, you got to put a jacket on. Okay. You know, and then it's like,
hey, we need somebody to sit behind this mic and throw a jacket on. Can you do it? Yeah, why not?
I mean, like, I'm watching him and I'm like, man, you're next. Because if I'm one of the money people and he guy shows up looking like that, I'm like, okay, man, you know what? Yeah.
Well, this guy, he already looks like he hadn't gotten a whole lot of sleep.
No, and I'm sure it was I'm sure it was stressful, but you might have wanted to put that white button down on under that, you know, that jacket there.
Yeah.
It was actually pretty funny. And he kept saying, and I'm a first year AD. And I was like, oh, wrong. That's the wrong thing to say. And I hired him. That's another wrong thing to say. You know, like, sometimes it's like you think you're helping yourself by being genuine and all that, but all you do is just make a bad situation worse, you know?
Yeah, be genuine, but not that genuine.
No, you just say, hey, you get out there and you go, hey, the guy wasn't cutting it. We love him. We played basketball here, but we got to win. And we're going to find somebody that's going to do that. Like, he's over here talking about our city's economies based on this basketball team, the school. And I was like, oof, that's another thing I will not say.
Yeah. Keep it simple.
Yeah. Keep it simple. That's right. That's right. So we got Hoops Friday though. And then Alabama is undefeated under Nate Oates' tournament in Nashville. So hopefully Alabama gets on a roll. I'd love to see them win the tournament up there.
Oh, man. The SEC tournament, when we're good, is one of my favorite events to watch. It is by far one of the best events to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, the first year we won it with Herb Jones. And
that was awesome.
Like I told you, I was watching that at a crawfish boil with about 100 people, mostly Alabama fans, and that was one of the best game watching experiences I've had. I mean, crawfish boil, 70 degrees, no clouds out, watching it outside, and, you know, just drinking a beer and enjoying that with a bunch of Alabama fans that I know. So, man, it was
good times.
Before
crawfish for $15 a pound.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, it'll be a shrimp boil this year.
Yeah, everybody. Shrimp are cheap.
That's right.
All right, guys, mybookie.ag. And don't forget that if you need some help with your picks, Lance's Lock, lanceslock.com. Lance will get you set up for the NBA, college basketball, the tournament, and more. Major League Baseball coming in strong as well. lanceslock.com. Jake, any final thoughts?
Man, pulled DeBoer through and bottom.
Yeah, bottom. All right, roll tide. See you guys.